Hi everyone, I'm Nanette from the Metal Embossing Academy in New Zealand, and it's my absolute joy to introduce you to Esme Gloster from Esme Mixed Media and Pewter Art in Canada. So Esme is one of our founding members at the Love Metal Membership Club, and I just thought it'll be a great way to introduce her and her craft to you today to have a little chat. So Esme, welcome. It's a joy to have you and finally meet you face to face. So would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about how your journey started with metal embossing and pewter?
Yeah. Nanette, thank you so much for having me. And also, I just want to say thank you for putting this community together for us. You know, I think building this community is going to keep this craft alive, or this art form alive. You know, for some it's art, for some it's craft, but really it is just thank you.
It's my absolute joy. I get so much joy from it. It's really just a joy for me.
So for me, basically, my first introduction to pewter or metal embossing as we know it today was I think it was around about the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you know, but I'm actually a potter. So my art career started as a potter, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I was teaching at a local college in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had my own pottery and art supply store. And then I would also teach pottery. We had a little workshop behind the store.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to utilize the space, I would always have all these other artists coming in and teach and, you know, in their medium. And I think that's where my love for mixed media started, is by attending all these workshops. But then one day the lady came in and she had this little box with her and she said to me, Esme, you must look at this. I got it from my grandmother. So her grandma just passed away. And I was looking at it and I said, wow, this is really nice. And she said, yeah, this is pewter work. And I look at it like, no, this is not pewter work. Because for me, pewter work was, you know, the castings.
Yeah.
Silverware, that's what pewter work was for me.
That's right.
And then, of course, and then she said, okay, so do you want to get somebody who can teach us this? And yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't that easy. You know, in the early 80s, we couldn't just jump onto Google.
No, unfortunately.
World Wide Web, and
it was a different place.
And if you put something in, it was like, I think 4 things that came up. So yeah, it was really a struggle for me that time. So I sort of put it onto the back burner, and yeah, every now and then I would think about that and I would search, but still nothing comes up about the pewter work. Later on, there was a little bit about Magdalena's mom and dad. So you know, little bits, but still, it almost, the ones that was available, the photos and the things, looks as though it could have been castings into a mold that they have made, because, you know, but just with the icons and the things that they've made. So then I think it was around about 1999, we were visiting my parents in Cape Town, and I went to a craft market there, and here was this table. It was just pewter stuff, and it was like, oh my, I found it. But at that time, you know, I didn't have the store anymore because just things happened, and it wasn't, I just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So I decided, okay, so I'm going to start doing pewter, and I was going to stay in touch. I can't even remember her name. I was going to stay in touch with her, and I'm going to learn how to do pewter work. Yeah, no, he did not stay in touch.
Didn't work.
So about a year and a half after that, we had the opportunity to come to Canada for a year. And I was thinking, okay, Canada is way advanced. You know, I'm definitely going to find somebody to do pewter. It's even 10 times worse than what it was in South Africa. But anyway, long story short, it's 2020 and we're still in Canada. We were supposed to come for 1 year, but we're still, And so eventually we moved down to Calgary. And that's where I ran into Elisha.
Oh, fabulous.
Aren't
you lucky?
It was also at, I think it was at the Christmas market. And the funny thing was, when I came around the corner, I didn't even notice the pewter that was on the table. I remember years ago, everybody in South Africa, it was the end thing. you had all your cutlery had this wiring around with a glass bead on. Yeah, that, and I
Little
came around
beads.
the
I still
corner,
have some
and
of those, actually.
yeah, I still have some too. And I came around the corner and I saw this on the table, and I still said to my mom in Afrikaans,
Amazing.
"Oh, this people must be from South Africa."
Yep. It's a big
And
giveaway.
yeah, and actually it was
Oh,
Tiana,
funny.
Alicia's friend, who answered me, and she said, "No, ons is van Suid-Afrika."
No
And I
way.
was like, "Wow, small world."
Very.
And yeah, so at that time,
Oh.
then her and myself started talking, and then Alicia was done with the people that she was tending to.
Mhm.
And we just started talking, and I said to her, "Well, this is something
Brilliant.
I really wanted to do."
Mm.
And she said to me, "Well, I'm teaching, so why don't you
Oh,
come?"
brilliant.
And I actually, thinking about this, let me just grab it here. I still use it today in a bookmark.
Oh, look at you.
I got this from Alicia on that day. It is
Wow.
the colored aluminum. I actually think this was a business card.
No way. That's
Yeah,
very clever, actually.
Yeah, she handed this to me,
Yeah.
and she said to me, "Contact me. I'm teaching classes." And that's how,
That's
I
how it
started.
started. So
Yeah.
how long ago was that then? That was it, did you say 2000,
It
early
was right.
2000s?
Yeah, it was around about, I think, 2014, 2015, around, because that's
Okay.
more or less the time that we moved to Calgary.
Right. So that's a long time since you first got in touch with it, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Because I mean, with most of us, it doesn't matter where in the world we are, but finding pewter is a struggle. It's hard and it's expensive, and it's just not an easily readily available craft that we do. But man, just the best.
Yeah. Oh no,
So good.
absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, I started taking classes from Alicia,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually think that I still said, up until about 2 years ago, the Pewter Fairy had other works for me, because it's like every time when I got that, there was something else that, got thrown in the way.
Yeah.
So I had a part-time position at that point, and
Mm-hmm.
then it started turning into a full-time position.
Okay.
So of course I didn't have time to work. I was too tired in the evening, so that was my own doing as well. So I was literally there. Every time when I see a class posted, I think, the first one to enroll. And then every workshop I did from Alicia, I would buy the kit and I would take it home. So for every workshop that I have done, somebody that I know have that as a gift. Because
That's brilliant.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Actually, I was looking for something the other day, and I found one of the workshops. So I never did that kit, so it's still
Oh, yay! It's a new project.
Yeah, it's the new project. So yeah,
Oh,
and
very
so
cool.
basically, I've learned everything that I knew, from Alicia.
Wow. What a teacher, though. I mean, I can't think of someone better to teach you.
Yeah, no,
Such a
absolutely.
blessing. She's
I have
wonderful.
learned lots, yeah.
Yeah.
And so eventually what I did was, I think it was more a stress relief for me as well. Calgary, a whole lot of friends would get together and we would just spend some time in my studio there. And I wouldn't really say I was teaching them, pewter or metal embossing. We were just really exchanging some ideas and things like that. And until 2 years ago when we moved to Creston, that's when I really started. So for me, I really have to say, for the last 2 years, I've been doing metal embossing.
Right. And you've done a brilliant job. Your work is stunning. And it's so cool. I mean, every time I look through the group photos, your style stands out. Everyone has their own personal style, and you can see, like, Teresa made this, or Esme did these ones, or Alicia did those ones. So I just really love how personalized it can be to our unique style and just the way we approach life, eh? Yeah, and I love that you combine it with so many other things. So tell us a bit about your mixed media journey and all the other crafts that you do.
So, as I said, maybe I got my foundation that time when I had the store, being introduced to all these different mediums. And with me, with just doing the metal embossing, I find that you can only put it on so many boxes. You can only put it on so many bottles. You can only,
exactly.
So you have to have another outlet. And then I started thinking, yeah, you know what, why can't I just add it onto my canvases? And that's actually how the whole combination of the mixed media and the pewter. So most of the projects I start, well, some of them end up in problems, absolutely. Most of the projects that I do, I usually start with metal embossing in mind, and then use the mixed media to complement the metal embossing. There's a few that I would do vice versa, but I usually have an idea of the metal embossing.
The metal first. Yeah, that's very cool.
And I always try and find new mediums to work with. So also years ago in Calgary, I was introduced to powder pole. I don't know if you've worked with that.
No, I haven't.
So it's basically a liquid cement.
Ooh, tell us more.
Yeah, it's really nice. So you can actually do sculpting with it. You can do, you can paint with it. There's a whole lot of things that you can do with that. But it was really messy. It was like, actually, I think Alicia, because this lady came in and I was hosting the workshop in my studio in Calgary. And Alicia and myself were just looking at each other and like, no, this is way too messy. We're not going to do that. No. And so then I had a couple of the sculptures and the things that I've made and that I've tried by myself as well. And every time when I was teaching a workshop here in Creston, somebody would ask me, oh, what is that? Why don't you teach that? And then I started doing some research, and I found a lady in Chilliwack who's actually doing the certification course for teachers.
Oh, wow.
And I reached out to Annette and talked to her, and off I went and I did the certification course. And then I realized it does not have to be so messy. I think it's yeah, I actually think it was just the instructor, that was her way of working. You mentioned about the style, all of us have our own style.
Yes.
And I think that was her style. She liked to be messy.
Messy. And it's not going to resonate with everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is, I'm very excited now about the power pole, combining that with the pewter. It's just the two mediums. I think it's going to work very well together.
Oh, that sounds very exciting. I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Yeah, it's, you can have a look at my studio. I'll quickly run and go and grab something for you.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to see. Absolutely. Go for it. You'll have to share a photo of your studio, Esme, that one with the sunset. I'd like to build that into the video. It's absolutely stunning, this view that Esme's got from the studio. It's just beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely have a stunning view.
Gorgeous.
So this is basically, what it is, if you can see. So
wow.
It is, and you just use, as long as you use natural fiber.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So this is an old white t-shirt. And you drip it into this liquid cement.
Cement, yeah.
And it's actually waterproof. So this can go outside.
Right.
Yeah, so you can do birds, all those kinds of things.
That is gorgeous. I think we had something similar in South Africa, but they called it something different, which I can't remember now, because I remember people laid like old fabrics, dipped it in there, laid it over the back of like an old planter pot, and then when they flipped over, it was this textured planter pot. So I think they just call it something different, but it's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
This is the little guitar. I still have to cover this with pewter, and then I'm going to do his guitar in pewter.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that too. Yeah. So I just find
Love
this is
it.
a very good medium because you can do balls with this and everything. But I think
Mm.
wasn't it called Power Text or something like that in South
I
Africa?
think so. It's something text. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Because I know
Yeah.
in the Netherlands, it's
Mm-hmm.
they call it Power Text. It's out in
Okay.
the Netherlands. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh,
So,
wow. That's like a whole new world opening up, eh? So many
oh,
opportunities.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's gorgeous. I think that's the thing I love most about metal embossing and pewter work is the fact that you can combine it with so many other things. So mosaics or putting it on canvases, mixed media, journal covers, boxes, all these things. So it's very versatile. There's lots of options to play.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's like Alicia always used to say, and I think Sandy, in one of her books, she mentions it as
Yeah,
well. You know, if it stands still for 2 seconds, you
that's
can
it.
put Pewter on
You
there.
can work with it.
You can, yeah, you can literally do that.
Definitely. Oh, that's wonderful. So, what is your favorite medium? You've done a piece on copper lately, haven't you?
Yes, I've been working with copper a while back, and then
Okay.
I just, you know, sort of dug it out. The reason
Mm.
why I don't like working with copper, I don't mind that it's harder to work. It is a little, yeah,
Mm.
I mean, you have to put a little bit more elbow
Yeah.
greasing when you work, but I find that it's actually a sharper medium than the pewter.
All
I tend to
right.
have little, I
Cuts.
don't know if you can call it copper cuts, but you know, like paper cuts.
Mm.
It feels like it's cutting the end. So I guess you can tape it, but I'm just too impatient to go and
Yeah.
sit and tape around my project
Same.
and things like that. Yeah,
Same.
yeah. I
Yeah.
work in. I've worked with the copper and quite a bit with the colored aluminums as well. My
Yeah.
preference is black
Cool.
because I really like working with just the black and the silver.
Mm.
I even in my mixed media, I don't put a lot of color in. Sometimes, like I
Okay.
think the one that I've just did the other day with the brain,
Yes.
you know, that will be overflow
That's quite
color. But
colorful.
if I really, the ones that I do, I would plan. The ones that I plan,
Right.
it's muted. It's the grays, the black,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
white.
Very cool. I like that. So, do you have a favorite tool to work with?
Well, I think yes. You know, this little, what do you call it, stylus? I don't
Where
know
do
what
you
it
guys
is.
find that? It's the same one Alicia showed us, and where
Yeah,
did you find it?
Merc
I think
Art.
I need
It's
one.
Merc Art, yeah. No, it's from Merc Art. They come in, actually, they used to be, they were first like a nude color, and then
Right,
they
okay.
changed to blue, and now they are purple. I
Now they're
think that
purple.
is the kind of plastic, you know, that they are using. So yeah, this is a very nice
Okay,
tool. I use that a lot. And
cool.
so last year, yeah, it was last year, April. I was fortunate enough to spend 3 days with Magdalena.
Ooh,
And yeah, so it was really
wow.
rush time. We were sitting at the dining room table, and
Oh,
I have learned so much, you know. And that's a
I
nice
can
thing about,
imagine.
I mean, Alicia's style and Magdalena's style, it's two completely different
Different,
styles.
yes, very
And for
much.
me to be able to learn from both of them
Mm,
and, you know, evolve with that, evolve
yeah.
into my own style. And then, of course, lately with Cecilia, it was like,
I
wow,
know,
another one in the back.
just next level.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was with Magdalena, I mean, this, I have to say, this little one now,
Oh,
it's
right.
starting, it's starting to get, especially
That's
for
the
the
one with the
binding. I
bendy
don't know if you
tip.
can see.
Yes.
Yeah, the bendy tool, and then it just, I don't really use this one,
Okay.
but I find for refining, this one
Mm,
just gives you almost as though you have more push power to
right.
push it in and just give
Okay.
it a little bit neater one. And
Oh,
then
that
of
sounds
course
wonderful.
the standard sharp edge. But those are the free that if I have to go to an island, that's the free
That's what
that I
you'll
will
take.
go to. Yeah. But I think if they say only one, I think I will actually take this one because it's got sort of
Yes.
the eraser side as well.
Right.
The sharp point one, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me at this point, I use mainly because I've got the Teflon tip tools in various sharpnesses. So even though the tip is quite tiny, I've got one that's quite rounded. So that I like using on the pewter because I find the very sharp one is too sharp for the pewter, but it works like a charm on the aluminium.
Mm-hmm.
So, but most of them are done with just the very sharp Teflon tip tool and some paper pencils.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's funny because Cecilia and I discussed it. We each have this huge bag full of tools, but it's like 2 or 3 that gets pulled out every time. We all have our favorites.
I think it's that way for everybody. I mean, if you just look at your closet, you know, you will have a closet full of clothes, and what do? You wear the same 3 things over and over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually quite like the idea of a capsule wardrobe. So I'm trying every now and then. I go to my closet. I'm like, I still have only the same 5 shirts or jeans or whatever ending up in the laundry. So then I try and clear out all the other things. But then every now and again, I'm like, I still need to cut down.
You know, for me, I was working with the public, so I had to dress up every day. I all those kind of things. And for the last 2 years, I haven't even touched those clothes. No. You know, it's like I have to get rid of them. But what do you really do with them?
Exactly.
You know, because it's not, you know, we live in a small town. We have about 5,000 people living here. So, you know, it's not really going to go over. Yeah, you know, I cannot see somebody with their high heels walking down the street dressed, and so yeah.
No, I totally get that. So, and it's funny how different cultures have completely different ways of dressing. Because in South Africa, dressing up was a thing. Everyone was very well presented, high heels, the nails, everything's done. And in New Zealand, we couldn't care less about that. So even jeans and sneakers are like well dressed. You know, it's muggy, it's raining a lot. People here have a very outdoorsy lifestyle, so that's how they dress. And so I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but we've got what they call op shops. So it's basically secondhand stores.
Yeah.
But you can see a lot of immigrants came over with the same sort of closet idea, brought all their clothes, and you get the best quality secondhand clothes in these stores. It's just absolutely amazing, like designer brands that you won't see native Kiwis wearing.
Exactly. We also have them. I think they call them consignment stores here.
Oh, right.
And so that's most probably something that I can do if we go back to Calgary for a visit or something. I can actually just take
drop them off somewhere. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So when you're not busy with your crafts, what else do you enjoy doing?
Crafting and doing more.
Crafting and more crafting. It's just the medium that differs.
It is. It's, you know, for me, really relaxing is sitting with my iPad, flipping through Pinterest, not really looking for anything, but just flipping through there and close it. But I have to set myself a timer. I would do it for half an hour. You know, I would sort of schedule it out in my day. Doesn't happen every day, but I would schedule it out. And then when I'm done there, I would actually take my sketchbook. And then I would start sketching some ideas of what I can remember, because I find that for me, it's a way of coming up with ideas. So I don't focus just on that one and think, okay, so how can I change this? So I have all those ideas in my mind, and then I just go to my sketchbook. And so yeah, it's, you know, this book is like, there's so many stuff going on here.
Wow, that's the treasure.
This is how I'm doing. So, you can't really see, but you know, I just keep on sketching, and I just open on a page, and
just
so it's not even, you know, okay, now I'm turn the next page. It's like, okay, so where was that? Looking through the whole page. So that for me is really relaxing to do that. Yeah, and I don't know, it's, I used to read a lot, but now lately I don't read anymore because it's not the same clicking that little corner to turn that page than what you can actually turn a page.
Yes.
Libraries are closed. Well, our library is just reopened.
Yeah.
But it's like 10 people in at a time.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
it's just not worth the effort.
I'm not going to pick a number to go to the library. I'm sorry.
No,
so yeah,
that's not going to happen.
You know, in music, for me, music is my relaxation. That's how I relax.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person that can sit still. I hardly watch television. If I do watch, I'm always busy doing something. I just cannot sit still.
That is so funny. I wonder if it's an artist thing, because I had an interview with a fellow New Zealand artist earlier this week, and we said the same thing. And our families both get so annoyed when we have family movie nights, and I'm sitting there crocheting or flipping through Pinterest because I've just lost interest in the movie. So it'll be crocheting, or I'll just walk away because I mean they're literally two steps away from me. And I'll come and sit at the dining room table and I'll be with them. I mean, we're in the same space, but I'll be doing my pewter, and that's relaxing to me and it fills my cup. But then, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. We just wire differently, eh?
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so.
Definitely. Yeah. It's funny what you say about Pinterest as well, because I mean, I can just lose track of time on Pinterest because it's so inspiring. And I think, for many artists, you need to fill the creative well, just with lots of ideas and lots of inspiration, whether it's flowers or drawings or paintings or ceramic ideas or whatever. It gives us a kick, hey? And it stimulates the next project, the next artwork that's going to be born comes from that. So it's this constant feeding thing.
Absolutely. But you know, Nanette, I don't know if you find it as well. Sometimes I would sit and then I would think, oh, you know what, this is a brilliant idea. I'm going to do this. No? 2 days later, I will flip through Pinterest like, no, this is not brilliant. There are 600 others of them out. You know, we think we come up with these original ideas, but I don't think there is any more original ideas. No. I think it's all out there. We just don't get exposed to them. Until it's in our mind, then we actually notice them.
Very true. That's very true. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast yesterday because it's funny what you say about books. I used to love reading, but number one, time is a bit of an issue now because in South Africa we had housekeepers and gardeners and whatever. In New Zealand, you do everything yourself, so time is a bit of an issue. But what I do when I do all my chores is I listen to audiobooks or podcasts or whatever. And I was listening to this one saying that many artists think they come up with their own style. But when you look at painters and paintings, many of those things look the same. Abstract paintings, for instance, or whatever, have a lot of the same elements. Yeah. And this lady was saying, just get over yourselves and don't think that you're the only or that you're the person who originated this idea or this particular style, because it's like you say, you know, things have been around for ages and we can put our own sort of stamp on it, but it's been done before.
No, it's absolutely.
Need to make peace with it.
Yeah. It's the one thing, you know, it was actually when we moved to Creston. So they have through the Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, they have a program, the LEAP program, which is the Local Entrepreneurship Accelerator program.
Okay.
So that's for the whole rural area of BC. So you had to submit your business proposal and then how you're going to test this and all of that. So I got chosen into that program. So we were 12 from all over BC who participated in that. Well, it's a yearly thing. So it was my turn last year, and then after the 12 weeks you would compile everything, say, is it a feasible idea that you had, is it going to work, you know, where do you have to pivot, was it necessary to pivot, those kind of things. So you have to put all of that together into a video. which was so stressful for me because, you know, I'm not really good on video. As you can see, I'm always blushing. But in any case, so yeah, it was like I did that and it was so nerve-wracking, you know, taping this and then submitting that. And that. So then there was, out of the 12, there were 3 prizes that was represented at the end. And I was so chuffed when I opened my email and they said to me, "Oh, congratulations, you have been chosen as the one for the authenticity program." I was like, yes, I can do something original, you know.
That's brilliant.
So this is the little card that I got.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see that, you know.
That's gorgeous.
So what they did, they actually, and then just on the inside, you know, the award. And so the person, so they had this, the Bonraiser event for this, where they presented us with our prizes and that. And the lady who presented me my prize, she said, you know, when I looked at all, because we had to submit some of our work as well.
Okay.
And she said, when I look at all your work, for me, art is art. You can do anything, you know, you can buy any card and it's artful. But when I look at your work, it's like, no, that is not going to work for you. She said it actually took her days to find the perfect card. And, you know, looking at this is so perfect. And
that is so special.
Yeah. And I'm always thinking when it's standing here, thinking, I must actually do this in Pewter.
That'll be gorgeous.
And, you know, and just gifted it to her, just for, you know, the way that she has done.
Oh, what a beautiful gesture. Yeah, you should. That's beautiful. I love that.
I'm still going to do it. I just don't know when I'm going to do it, but I am still going to.
It's on the list.
It's on the list, yes. The list is this long, you know, and every time I scratch something off, there's everything coming down at the bottom, but it's moving up.
It's there. It's there. You'll get there. Oh, that's fabulous. I love that. So what did you present in that presentation? Which of your pieces did you?
I did. There was I think some of the pieces is actually that I've sent you photos of.
Okay.
So the business that I was that I started out testing was doing functional art and memorabilia art. So that's what I wanted to do. And well, actually now with just the whole COVID, we're teaching it a little bit on the background, and I'm not too comfortable with the online yet. I'm slowly putting and dipping my foot in there.
I'm putting pressure on you for that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good starting with people that you sort of know and you've been communicating in a group, although it's just via Facebook. But yeah, so I submitted. There is some that I've actually made, some functional art as well as keepsake boxes. I don't know.
Oh, beautiful.
The keepsake boxes in there, and then there was this one lady. She she just loves a cat. You know, like she say, if she have to choose between a cat and her children, she's not going to say who she's going to choose. It's an easy choice. But, you know, it's going to be an easy choice for her, you know. It's so, and then one of her cats passed away, and this is actually where I really went out, because her colors is orange and green.
Oh, and wow.
And you will see, I think it's in one, I think I did send that photo of those little memorial boxes that I did for her cat. And, you know, so that was sort of my main photo that I sent. And it was aluminum. It wasn't even pewter.
Okay.
But I think that just caught the eye of maybe the judges. I don't know. And then, you know, adding that with some of the other memory boxes that I did, incorporating some heirlooms, you know, jewelry pieces into that.
Yeah, very cool. Because I like the fact that you your ideas are way out of the box. It's not your general run-of-the-mill, you know, do the same thing everyone else does. I really respect that about you, and yeah, hats off, it's beautiful. And it says a lot about your own personal style. So yeah, keep going. You've got the award, so well done you. Keep going with it.
I was really chuffed. You know, for me, it was really those 12 weeks. It was really intense, and I think while I was busy doing that, I didn't like it because it completely took me out of my comfort zone.
Yep.
I'm an introvert.
Right.
I'm really an introvert, and I think talking so much is me compensating for being an introvert. So, you know, all of a sudden you have to do this market research, you know, you have to talk to people you don't know, and it was really putting me out of my comfort zone. But it helped me a lot, you know, moving forward for where I want to take my business.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. It's interesting. So basically it's basically been a year because I started with the whole concept of taking my business online last year this time. So I had to figure out how to build a website, how to build a membership site, record all the videos, upload them, do social media, all these things, which I'm not wired for. So it feels literally like for the past year, I've been constantly out of my comfort zone. However, what happened is I've become addicted to the rush of just the growth that happens during that time, because you can't stay stagnant when you're in a comfort zone, or you can't stay stagnant when you're constantly being pushed out of it. So so for me, being out of that comfort zone is the only place where real growth happens, and I get such a rush from it now. I think I've created a monster. So who knows where this will lead.
But you know what? That's good. If you don't, I believe that if you don't have something, or, you know, to look forward to, or you don't want to work on yourself, we're always talking about working on our projects and things like that. But I think you have to work on yourself to evolve.
Absolutely.
As well. We can't stay the same. You know, really, we can't stay the same. Sometimes I think we have to go back to basics, you know, just to sort of regroup ourselves. But yeah, it's, to be honest with you, when you launch yours, it's like, darn it, she did it before me. I was a little bit jealous. Although it's completely different concepts that we have. You know, you're teaching, and because I didn't want to do the online teaching yet at that point, it was like, no, she did it before me. So,
well, you're part of it, so I'm not in it for myself. It's for all of us. So I'm very happy that you took the plunge and that you're a part of our group. You bring such a light, beautiful energy to the group, and I want to thank you for that. And I'm gonna keep pushing you out of your comfort zone with asking to put your courses online, which brings me to the next point. So Esme and I have been talking about her doing an online course for us, and she came up with a wonderful idea that's going to be mixed media and metal. So Esme, would you like to elaborate a little bit about what we have in mind?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the first things I think that everybody who's doing metal embossing is some other time you are going to do a journal cover. And so my thought as we were talking was, you know, why not start from scratch and make your own journal? It will be a small little journal, you know, do the binding and just use everyday things that we have in our house. You maybe have to drop, I don't know, in Canada it's a dollar store. I don't know what you call it.
Yes,
in the rest of the world. I think in the US it's a Dollar Tree or something like that. But you know, you can go and buy your supplies from that. The only thing that you sort of, I think you have to splurge on would be the glue, because if you don't have the right glue, then it's not going to last. But yeah, you know, start from scratch. Basic course is, or the entry is make your own little journal, bind it with the glue, do your cover, and then add your metal embossing to that. And, you know, from there, if you want to evolve and you want to go a little bit more, there's things like make your own paper.
Cool.
The next one will be to make your own paper. And then from there, it can be, you know, binding with cotton, the real binding way, you know, not just glue everything together. So there's a lot of things that you can start from the basics and you can really get involved. Bookbinding is it's an awesome place. But it's really
Wow.
nice. You can do it basics. This ones, I just don't want to take these off, but these are the little ones that I've just binded, and it's just glue. And what I've done now is I've put my tape. So now I've got the white tape, and then once you've bind it, you just tape it up with your bookbinding tape. You can also use, I've used some packing tape, but not the plastic packing tape, the cardboard packing, the craft packing tape. You can use that as well. That's not bad. So you just have to, but again, it's an additional layer of glue that you have to put on, where these ones, you know, but they already glued, so it just works well. Yeah, and then when that is done, you do the metal embossing for your cover, and you have your little homemade from scratch.
Beautiful. You make it sound so easy. I'm sure there's a lot more involved.
It's actually easy. You know, it's like everything in life. If you open to it, it's easier.
That's true. That is very true. That sounds wonderful. So how long have you been doing bookbinding?
I can almost say forever.
Wow. Yeah. I've been fascinated. My mother-in-law, she really likes giving us custom-made gifts. So the one time she had a handbag made for me with my name on it, and there was a guy who did the most beautiful leather work in the town where we're from. And so Wynand got a wine bottle carrier, and he also did bookbinding. But my goodness, those handmade leather books were just, it's a treasure. It's such a labor of love, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love that. So I'll be keen to take your course if you've got one sign up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There we go, to start.
And Annette, it is like you say, it gives me so much joy to see somebody else learning something, and or for me to be able to teach them, you know, so that they can go on and you know, like there's one of the ladies that started taking some classes with me here in Creston, and I can tell you one thing, she is awesome. So what she's doing is she's actually doing stained glass, and she is now combining the pewter work with her stained glass. She makes these awesome projects.
Oh, wow. I actually had a lady last night who, she's a stained glass artist in New Zealand, and she was importing pewter branches, but it's the cast pewter that she sold these little birds and butterflies on. And so she stumbled upon my website with the pewter work, but it's, I mean, it's a completely different thing. Yeah. I said to her, ooh, we should collaborate because I can just see the pewter on the lead glass. It'll be a wonderful combination.
Absolutely. And, you know, funny enough that you mentioned that the first time when Kerry took a workshop from me, she actually said that, you know what, I'm going to see how I can incorporate it in that. And it was about a week after that, she said, no, you can't solder the copper in there. She's like, you know.
No, because it's not the right type. Yeah.
So, and then she started with the projects and, you know, do that. And but that is why I think I love teaching, is because there's so much value in other people, you know, what I do for other people, you know, through my teaching, and learning a lot through teaching as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Literally every class I teach, it's such a wonderful experience for me with every class, whether it's teaching for kids or adults. I'll be learning something new throughout those classes. The one time I remember, I just got exposed to the copper-plated aluminium, and I thought, oh, great! I've imported a roll, and I thought, let's do a class on this. This is fabulous. So I played around with it a little bit. And then when I taught the class, the one lady made a copper mandala, and we painted it with a black craft paint. And then on the copper, I normally wipe it off pretty quickly, but she left hers on. Eventually, when she took it off, it looked like bronze. It just took on a whole new life of its own, and it really looked ancient. The way she did it, it just looked ancient. And I thought, oh, my word, that's beautiful. And I learned something, because I would have just done it the way I always did it. But I always learn something when I teach others, and just seeing the light and the excitement, you know, sort of igniting in other people when they realize what they'll be able to do with a pewter, and how they can make it their own. Oh, I'm addicted to that process. I love it.
No, absolutely. I fully agree with you on that. Don't you find that when you teach, you sort of deep down wish somebody wants to make a mistake so that they can learn something and you can learn something?
Yes, those happy little mistakes. It's mistakes that we learn from. Yeah, I love those.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because I'm also busy. You know, I have too many things in the fire, I think, but I'm zooming in now. It's getting to a point where it's coming all together.
Focus.
So I'm also working on my YouTube channel, which will be mostly about projects. It will definitely be more projects than tutorials. With that. And so when I started with this, the first video that I did for that was, I edited out, I had a big slip up, and I edited it out, and I decided, when I looked at the video that was complete, I thought, no, this is not what I want to do. I want to incorporate all the mistakes, and so I went back and I edited all the mistakes back in, because that's how we learn, you know, we learn from our mistakes. And and if it's a mistake that we can't fix, you know what, live with it.
Exactly. It's funny. So the very first course I did online was the metal embossing made easy. And on one of those, I was working on the color-coated aluminium, which is quite thin. And I was working with my very sharp tool, and I poked a hole through it. And I'm like, darn it, now I have to do it over again. And I thought, you know what? All of the students going through that course will make a mistake at some point, and better I teach them how to fix it, you know, than just sort of make it like it never happened, because mistakes are just a normal way of life. And the sooner we get over this whole fear of failure thing, you know, the faster we can move forward. So let's just do it. And I thought, but will I lose credibility if I still make mistakes after however many years I've been doing it? I thought, no, they'll make mistakes too. So the same thing, I edited it back into the video, and it's now part of the course, how to fix mistakes.
Exactly. You know what, that's, as I said, that's how we learn, is by, you know, and why do you want to put somebody else making the mistakes if you've already done that and you've already have a solution for it? Just make it easier for them. You know, it's for me, it's just, I think on that side, we're definitely on the same, what do you call it? Can't think of the word now. You will think about it. Afrikaans is golflengte.
Wavelength.
Wavelength, yeah. You know, we've got the same with that. You know, it's not about us, it's about them. It's, you know, what we can bring for them, what we can give of ourselves to them.
Absolutely.
For me, that's very important in life.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about the other people,
And I think for me, the greatest joy, and it's something I struggled with initially, is when you start seeing students really embracing it and you feel like, oh gosh, they're excelling me. That's the whole point. I want to teach them to be better than me.
Exactly. You know, that's something, you know, years ago, you asked me about the bookbinding. So ever since I can remember, I have always been making greeting cards and homemade gifts. So I've just always done that. And, you know, even when I was teaching pottery, that was always the thing. I would always say to the students as well, you know, you have to remember, to be really good, you have to become better than what I am. Because don't keep yourself back. You don't want to thinking, oh, I can't be better than what my teacher is. No, you can be better than what your teacher is. That is going to make you a better potter. And
exactly.
I love that. In life. It goes for everything in life. You know, it's strive to be. Otherwise, we're never going to get amount to anything if we don't try and better ourselves.
That is so true. That is so true. And I mean, this whole journey of creating the Love Metal membership club, and having it consist of so many amazing Pewter tutors from all over the world, people were saying to me, but you're creating competition for yourself. And I'm like, no, we're all here to learn together, to learn from each other, because it's like you said, Magdalena had her own style that you could glean from. Same with Elisha. And you make that your own. So you can now go on and pass on that knowledge and those styles, and combined with your own, to your students. So everyone benefits. And the benefits far exceeds the risks or whatever. So I just feel so blessed by the whole group, and just the knowledge and the experience and the way people freely share what they know. That to me is absolutely beautiful. I love that.
Now that's one thing that I have to say about the group, that willingness to share, and there's no, oh, I think mine is better than what yours is, and what I think sometimes, I see something and it's like, wow, that is so good. And it's like crickets. Nothing is going on that post or something like that, and then I feel so sorry for, not sorry for, but you know what I mean? It's like, this is, but again, each and everybody, we have different styles. We like different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like different things. I mean, we talked about Teresa earlier on. I absolutely love her children. It's love it.
Gorgeous.
Will I ever do one? I guess never. Because it's just not me.
It's not but I so appreciate. I commented on the one post, and I said to her that the way she captures that emotion in the picture, it's so special the way she manages that. But that's again, and the way she does the textures. And I think it boils down again to our mentors, so the people who teach us can sometimes create almost like a boundary, because the first lady who taught me was she was very strict and very purist on this is how you do it and you don't cross the lines. Very, very puristic. So even color on pewter was an absolute no. But creating the kind of textures that Teresa manages on her projects, I think it would have been pushing the boundaries too far. So, but it's just beautiful. And again, and I think the other one that really just inspires me so much is Mernesa, because she's got a whole different take on it with those very geometrical designs. It's just amazing. And I think that's the thing, is to just start playing with the medium, experiment, make the mistakes, learn from it, and then embrace it and make it your own.
That's the whole thing. It is really about, and I think that for me is why I handle Pinterest the way that I handle Pinterest. I look and I go and I do my own thing. I don't try and copy. Did I try and copy something from Pinterest? Absolutely. I was looking at something and I do that because I'm in a hurry and I need to do something. But as a whole, that is, I feel, how I grow, or how anybody can grow in, as an artist, is about, it's that thing about how do you steal from an artist? You don't look and copy, you take, you gather, and you redo it your style. That's what it is boiling down for me.
No, absolutely. And I think with Pinterest, it's a source of inspiration, but then combining all those different bits and pieces and doing your own thing with it. It's interesting. So I think you might have heard before that during lockdown, I signed myself up for this artist mentoring program. And it's the same thing, because lots of them had questions about copyright and copywriting your work and all those things. And the leader of the group said, you know what, don't worry about that too much. All of us, when we start with anything in life, you have to copy someone else's work just to get started. And it's good to know the rules of the game so that you can break them later. But you have to have a good knowledge of how the medium works and sort of just which designs are suitable for it. So try a few, copy a few, and then go on and do your own thing with it. So.
And it is. And it's exactly coming down to what you have learned. You will very quickly, you will maybe do 1 or 2 or 3, maybe as much as 5, as many as 5 of those projects on that specific style. But you will realize, no, this is not
it.
you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The way that I've learned, that was a style that I've learned as well. But that, I think that was the style going around at that time. Was everything was in a grid.
Yes.
So everything was in a grid.
The
That's
same.
how you've learned.
Yep.
You had your little compartment, and I used to love it. And then when I started working, more and more by myself over the weekends, and actually since moving to Crest in the last 2 years, I've realized I haven't done a grid. I never had, a desire to do that until I did a frame from me and a friend that went to France, and I wanted to capture in this frame everything that we did in France.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
So then it was going back to basics, and that's what I was saying, sometimes you have to go back to basics, because there was no other way to do it than to go back to basics. But it just realized for me, that's not what I want to do. Will I do it again? I will most probably work in a
probably once or twice, but it's not the definitive.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you say. Take what you get, try it, move on to your own style.
That's it. Yeah, very interesting. So, do you have any tips for beginners? I
would definitely say, just go for it. Never get discouraged. As well is if you do something and you feel you don't like it, it's not to your liking, just put it away in a drawer.
Or give it to someone.
Don't even give it to someone. Don't even finish it. Don't even finish it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's your mindset. It's where you are at that moment. And, you can come a week or 2 weeks, even 6 months later, and you can look back at that and it's like, oh, wow, why didn't I like this? It's just take yourself away from that and come back to it later on, but never get discouraged. Because,
absolutely.
It's that thing, that saying, I'm just trying to think who said it. I don't know if it was Picasso, but I don't quote me on who said it, but they say every artist was an amateur once.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And, that is. So when you look back, even if I look back at some of my first things, it's like, holy Esme.
Oh,
but then again, sometimes I look back at things that I did a month ago, and it's like, what were you thinking? So
I know.
That too,
it's a journey. It's a process. And I think
it's mindset. Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, I don't know about you, but when I'm tired or not in a good emotional space or whatever, my work reflects it. You can see there's some magic missing. So I've learned not to do big pieces or commission pieces or whatever when I'm not feeling my best, because it shows in my work.
Yeah.
So
it's absolutely, as I said, it comes back for me, same with you, the mindset, where we are at that moment in time. And sometimes we don't even realize we're in that mindset. We might be thinking we're happy, but there must be, or there can be some underlying things, and it shows in our work. It definitely shows in our work. Yeah.
Definitely. So that's something to be mindful of.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the other thing? Was there anything that you wanted to share with our audience about where they can, I'll share all the links to where they can find you, but is there a specific thing that you wanted to share about maybe upcoming classes or something that you want to do?
As I said, I'm busy. Everything is coming into the bottom of the funnel now for me.
Right.
So I've launched my the Esme Art website. So that is up and running. It still needs a little bit of work, but you know what? Execution over perfection.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
So that is there. And if they want to sign up for my newsletter, they can there. I've worked diligently. It took me hours and hours. I can lie and say it took me 10 minutes, but no, it took me very long. I really put a lot of effort in there. Yeah, you know, I took the 26 letters of the alphabet,
Right.
and I followed the ABCs of keeping creativity alive. You know,
beautiful.
so the A's, you know, all the things that you can do, starting with the A, and then the B, and working myself through down to
that's wonderful.
so I've created a document, a PDF for that. So if they sign up for newsletters, they will get the ABCs of how to stay creative.
That's
they can choose a letter
so
for
cool.
the day, things like that. And yeah,
very nice.
As I said, my YouTube channel, I will be launching that soon as well.
Cool.
And the online classes, that is still a little bit further down the line.
Of course.
So I first need to get the YouTube up and running to make aware of some of the projects, and then from there start doing the online teaching. But I'll work on the one for the basic bookbinding.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will give me. I'm definitely most probably going to need some guidance from you. You know.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to have.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, I've got the basics of how to put it together. But yeah. I always say, you know what? Don't be scared. And this is something also for you when they just start out. Don't be scared to ask.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Why do you want to struggle for weeks on end if you can get help and in an hour's time?
Exactly.
You know, those kind of things. Just don't pull the rug out and just go overboard with the help that you ask. But, you know, just, I mean, ask. It's nothing wrong with asking. And it's nothing wrong with admitting there's somebody out there that's doing a better job than what you are doing, because there will always be.
There will always be. Exactly.
Yeah, there's always somebody out there that you wish you were as good as that person, and there's somebody out there that wish that they are as good as what you are now. So, you know,
that's so true.
Always, that's my sort of philosophy in life. Is work together.
It sort of fits with the quote that a flower just blooms. It doesn't look at all the other flowers around it. And if we can just focus on our area of strength. I mean, just before we started the school, I was busy with admin, and you know I have a passionate hate for admin. It messes in with my art time. So focus on the things that you're good at. And don't worry too much about all the other stuff. You know, we're all created differently with a specific purpose, or there's a specific thing that we need to accomplish in the world. And if we can just stick to that, the rest is easy.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like just staying focused on what that thing is. So don't worry about too much about other people, because there will be people better than you, and that's just life. So.
I always say in the end, it comes down to stay true to yourself. Don't try and be somebody else, because you're never going to fit in, or not fit in is not the right word. You're never going to make it as somebody else. Just be yourself.
Absolutely, because I don't know how you go through life constantly wishing you're someone else. You'll never be authentic.
Yeah.
I think it'll just be an uphill battle trying to fit, trying to wear someone else's shoes kind of thing. So, no.
Yeah, no, it's, sometimes I just feel like, okay, I'm going to scream, and then I just want to scream. Other times I just want to cry. And so, do it.
Just do it.
What you feel like in that moment. Just be yourself all the time. You don't have to, it's easier. It makes life easier for yourself. That's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. Definitely. Well, it's been an absolute joy talking with you. And one of us mentioned on Cecilia's group that how wonderful would it be if we could all get together at some point and just craft together. So we should totally work on that idea. Don't know where we're going to do it, but that sounds like a lot of fun. And all the best with your YouTube channel and all the things down the line. Keep us posted, and I'll share where people can find you. And just wishing you all the best. Thank you again for having me. And it was really, I've enjoyed this.
as nervous as what I was, I really enjoyed this.
Awesome. Just want to check from the list then.
Yeah, I can do this now.
You can do it, absolutely. Well, thank you, Esme. I wish you a wonderful weekend. Have fun, and looking forward to your next project.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Lynette. Have an awesome
Thanks,
day.
Esme. See you. Bye.
Bye.